Hi, this is Jim, and for BFR, it's Sunday, August 23rd, 2020. Here's your COVID-19 metrics update for the day and for the week here in Georgia. Let's start with the daily, as we usually do. And when we take a look, good healthy testing today. 24,000 tested was almost 5,000 up from last week. And the nice part about it is the percent of new cases was down to 7.6%, and we haven't seen that kind of number since mid to late June, June 23rd actually. So good when it comes to that, good when it comes to the count of new cases at 1727. That's down from last week. It's down from yesterday. It's driving the 7-day average down. So all of those are positive, and we'll talk about when do we get back to where we were in May and June when we get into the weekly. New hospitalizations was down. I think the interesting thing on the hospitalizations is we have our active beds down to 2,360. That's down 240 from last Sunday. And we are continuing to see that decline over the peak that we saw a few weeks ago. So that is really beneficial. From a CCU perspective, we'll go ahead and jump right to that. From a CCU perspective, only 4 areas that are above 90%, and 3 of them are just above 90%. So the Northwest Floyd Medical area is at 90. The central middle Georgia Macon area is at 91%. The shoreline area is at 91%, and you can see yesterday they were only at 90, so they are in fairly good shape there. But it's the Oconee Milledgeville area that jumps out at 98% utilization with only 1 bed available. So something that bears watching as we go into next week is there an outbreak there or something else that may drive that number up? So we'll keep an eye on it. All right, we're going to go straight on into the weekly. And from a weekly perspective, we're seeing all 4 of these metrics that we track trending down, which is good. So one of the things I wanted to do today is try and put some perspective in on when are we going to kind of be back to what was the new normal, which if you take a look, it really was kind of late the second half of May, the first half of June, when we saw kind of a steady pace of 5,000 cases a day, for example. So if we look at cases and we want cases to get down below 6,000 cases a week, it'll probably take another 5 weeks at the level we're declining right now. We dropped 17% week over week. If you look at the way that trend is going, it's been roughly that amount for a couple of weeks now. So if you extend that out, we're going to get down below 6,000 cases a week sometime at the end of September, barring any new things like school outbreaks driving this number up. So this is BAU, no changes to how we do things, trends going down. On the testing side, the more we look at it, the more I think, and this is my personal opinion, that the testing declines are being driven by demand, so just people are not wanting to test or needing to test. We'll see if that holds up, but that is currently my takeaway on the testing numbers. I would like to see the testing numbers stay at this range so we can get a good measure and get that, one of the things that the feds look at is they look at the percentage of cases that are coming from new tests every week. Here, I can actually show that to you. It looks like this. So it's cases per 1,000 residents and positive test ratio. We are right around 10% on the 7-day average here, which is what they look at. And this was from last Wednesday or last Tuesday's data. So when we get to Wednesday, we'll look at this data again, and we should see both good declines on this cases per thousand as well as positive percentage per thousand. Depending on how the next couple of days go, we might actually drop from the red to the yellow for percent of positive cases. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there. Back to the weekly. Let's hit on hospital admissions. 1282. That's a going back to a June low as well. 12% decline this week. Was more than we experienced last week, so it is flattening out a little bit. At this pace, though, we are about 4 weeks away from the mid-May to mid-June hospitalization rate. And as I said, same thing with cases, 4 to 5 weeks away. Looking at the declines on the death rate, now we've only had 1 week to see the decline, so it's hard to call a trend off 1 week's worth of data. But if we do, then we're going to see this decline to the 200 a week range in about 5 weeks. My prediction here is because we had, call it a 3, 6, 7, or 8 week high period, and we're only really 4 in cases, and we're only really 4 weeks into, call it 5 weeks into high deaths. We probably have another 2 to 3 weeks of 400 plus deaths a week in Georgia based on the way that trend is going in cases. It just seems to be following that. In the meantime, so all those, again, I'm going to asterisk this again, all of those are if nothing changes, but we know things are going to change. Back to school is happening. We know we're getting cases from that, and I'll give a fresh update on where we stand with that tomorrow. We also know that we're about 2 weeks away from Labor Day, and everybody's going to go out and party it up just like they did on 4th of July and just like they did on Memorial Day when we started to see those climbs again. So the question will be all in timing, right? How low do we get, and how low is the spread rate by the time we get to Labor Day? If the spread rate is low and the case rate is low, then we should see less of a spike. However, if we look back at Memorial Day, and that week we came in about 5,100 cases, 4,100 cases the week after. So we were in the 4,000 case range. We had 4 weeks to let that multiply, and as that multiplied up towards July 4th, we went from 4,000 cases a week to 18,000 cases a week. Then the July 4th hit, and everybody went out, and then we nearly doubled that. So that's the kind of rate we may see as we get into Memorial Day, get into Labor Day. So if we start at a high number, if we come in and we only drop another 15% a week over the next 2 weeks, that's going to leave us with cases, call it 10,000 new cases in around Memorial Day or Labor Day. I always get those mixed up, sorry. So if we're at a 10,000 cases a week range around Labor Day, forecast 3 weeks out from that, we could easily be doubled up from that and be at the 20 to 25,000 case range near the spike we saw now at the end of September. That's just the Labor Day factor. That's not also counting the school factor, which may slow that decline down as well. So there's a lot of things that are going to go into this over the next few weeks, and we will see how it goes. We'll keep watching, but that's kind of the forecast view as I'm thinking about it right now. All right, I think that's it for today. If you'd like some interesting reading, take a look at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution today. There is a guest editorial by Governor Kemp. He talks about some of the successful things that we've seen during the COVID-19 event that we've been having. I didn't see anything related to how well we have treated people who have been sick or those kind of things, but there's plenty to talk about from a how great business is perspective, and you can make your determination which should be more important and what the priority should be for the state, and comment accordingly. All right, that's going to do it for me. I'll be back tomorrow with some updated school numbers, and we'll keep watching this thing chug along. Thanks. Have a great afternoon.